Hey guys, I'm Lynnie with Sunflower Spirit Tarot, and I'm here with the message for Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and any other significant placements. For those of you who haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'm trying to hit 500 subscribers by the end of this month, and I think I can do it. I just need your help. So if you like anything that I do, even if this reading doesn't resonate with you, go ahead and consider subscribing. And to all of my returning sunflowers, welcome back. I appreciate your love and support, and I'm so happy that you're here. All right, let's get started. This is a general message. So whatever I see is basically what I'm going to read. We start today's reading with the Emperor and the Three of Cups here. You were connected to somebody who you felt like might have been your counterpart. You could be married in long-term partnership or relationship. You could cohabitate with your person. This just talks to me about just having a counterpart situation or feeling like you were united or reunited with your counterpart at some point. Now, this is the past energy that's coming up. Emperor is Aries energy for those of you who need that confirmation, but they don't have to be in Aries or have that in their chart in order for this reading to resonate with you. We start this reading with the Emperor and the Three of Cups, which tells me that you are connected to somebody who at one point made you feel very alive, okay? They were fun to be around. They were social. They were energizing. They were friendly. They had a lot going for them. They worked really hard. They're very successful in their own right. Or maybe you guys, if you have been together for a long time, have kind of worked your way into success, or your relationship has played a major role in building this person's success. Then we have the Knight of Pentacles here, which talks about hard work, dedication, moving forward, not necessarily the fastest moving knight, but definitely the most consistent, the most dedicated, the most disciplined, the person who's going to go really far based on their values, their morals, their sense of priorities, what's really important, right? This person is not somebody who's afraid to make sacrifices to get what they want. Now, with this coming up in the past energy here, what this tells me is that you are working with this person, this Emperor energy, potentially for a very long time in partnership with this person. And at first, I feel like it was a lot of fun. And I feel like there was a friendship that was kind of established between you two. Now, I'm not sure if this is romantic partnership or romantic relationship, but it could be that for sure. I just feel like this is somebody who at some point was working just as hard as you were working, was doing just as much as you were doing, or they were the provider or the breadwinner or the protector of your family unit or of your relationship. We then have the Eight of Cups here, which is an energy of feeling abandoned or being abandoned, which lets me know that there's some sort of emotional abandonment that happened within this connection, within this dynamic between the Emperor and the Empress here, which is kind of what I'm feeling is your energy. This is divine feminine energy. This is creativity, abundance, luxury. But this is also loving, nurturing, care. Okay, it doesn't even matter what body you're in. This is just the energy. So this is not about gender. This is just about the energy here, right? Then we have the Six of Wands. This talks about moving forward with confidence or confidently that you're going to succeed, or you have succeeded. You've overcome a particularly challenging moment or chapter in your life, and you're moving forward from that. We also have the Knight of Wands and the Ten of Swords. And I'm going to go more in depth on all of this stuff. I just want to show you what the spread is. We have the Knight of Wands and the Ten of Swords here, which tells me that there are some things that are being cut off, or you're disconnecting from, or someone is disconnecting from, in an effort to focus more on the things that they are passionate about. Okay. We also have the Three of Swords ending the reading. Now, this is the potential outcome of the energy that's kind of swirling around you at the moment. The energetic snapshot that I'm seeing kind of ends with this Three of Swords energy. The Three of Swords is an energy of separation, of disconnection, of understanding that something is in need of healing as well. So it's just the acknowledgement that the pain is there. It doesn't necessarily mean that if you're with somebody, you're going to break up with them, but it can mean that for sure. What I'm seeing, especially with this Two of Wands as your overall energy, this is like you being caught between, I wouldn't say a rock and a hard place, but it's almost like being caught between your old life and your new life, your old self and your new self. I do feel like there is a part of you that feels that people were more comfortable around you when you weren't as successful, when you weren't as in tune with yourself, when you weren't feeling as empowered and confident and loving yourself as much. Maybe you've had a glow up, like a significant glow up, like people have noticed like the difference in you. Even if you're not superficial, the Empress does lend itself to vanity as well. So there's this aspect of being very, very attractive, looking really good, smelling good, and also that being a reflection of what's going on inside of you. I feel like there's a lot of energy that you're kind of pouring back into yourself. Now you're realizing how powerful your love actually is, right? How powerful your energy actually is, because you're giving it back to yourself and you're watching yourself blossom. And that's how I feel. The unfortunate part of this reading is that the person that you've chosen to partner with, the person that was seemingly working with you so well over these last few months, years, decades, I'm not really sure, doesn't seem to fully and totally embrace the fact that you are now blossoming, that you have now become this person who is so not trying to be in control of everything else, but so totally in control of themselves. Somebody who is very emotionally mature, somebody who is just very generous in spirit and energy. But they're also somebody who understands boundaries, somebody who understands that they can't give too much or else they won't have anything left for themselves. They're also somebody who understands that you cannot pour from an empty pitcher, right? You can't pour from something that doesn't have anything to pour from. So the impression that I'm getting right now is that there is somebody who is successful as a result of being connected with you in some capacity. And yet, as you have learned to turn your love and your care and your dedication and your discipline inward, and now it's having an effect on your outward circumstances, from the way that you look to the way that you carry yourself to the kind of connections that you're making to the kind of opportunities that are available for you. This Emperor energy here is not necessarily on board. It almost seems like they feel like you were more fun, or you guys had a stronger emotional bond or emotional connection whenever you were kind of playing second fiddle to them. They're not used to you, quote unquote, being on their level in some way. I don't know if it's just an aesthetic thing, if it's a financial thing, or if it's just like maybe you were like a stay-at-home partner for the majority of your relationship, and now you've gone out and you've gotten a job and you feel so empowered by the money that you're making and how you're contributing to the household. And maybe now this person feels a little bit lessened as a result of that, a little bit smaller as a result of you really growing into yourself and filling your shoes. You know what I mean? You don't ever have to feel bad for someone else feeling bad because you feel good. Don't ever make yourself small or shrink yourself to fit into any kind of a box that anybody makes for you. I think that you've sacrificed enough. And I think honestly, that's really a strong tone of this message here, is that you've really sacrificed a lot for the people around you to thrive, and it's your turn. This is not to say that you can't continue giving to what's important to you, that you can't have priorities outside of yourself. Of course you can, especially if you have children or a family or something like that. Of course you can have priorities outside of yourself, but I think that you are realizing that it's important that you are now your number one priority, and that you are now giving yourself the love and kindness, care, and attention that you have so lovingly given to other people, right? Now that you're a direct beneficiary of your own love, and that you're blossoming and becoming people, it's affecting people. It's affecting people. And it could affect more than just this one person, right? It could be affecting your social circle. It could be affecting the people who you really thought were your friends, or who you really thought were like down for you or had your back. Sometimes people only want to be in connection with other people who mirror where they are in life and make them feel good about it. This is not to say like you need to be shitting on anybody else, right? This is not to say that these people are below you in any way. It's just the way that people see themselves. Okay, so if other people are seeing themselves as inferior as a result of you really leveling up and stepping into your own power, then those people aren't necessarily going to be the people who have the most comfortable ride as you're going off into the future. You know what I mean? And I feel like you are understanding right now that that's not necessarily your job, to chase after those people, to make sure they come with you, to make sure they're doing what you're doing and are as disciplined as you, or as focused as you, or as creative as you, or enjoying life as much as you enjoy life. Because that's really going to, I feel like that's going to rain on your parade. I think it's really more important for you now more than ever that you surround yourself with really positive and forward thinking people. And I get that sometimes it's hard for you to separate yourself from people who aren't necessarily good for you. Am I saying you need to cut people off? You know, I am a cutoff queen. Okay. But I'm realizing now that I get older that community is really important. You should value your friendships and your relationships, even if they stop performing or like performing up to your expectations, or even if you have to realize that this person isn't necessarily who you thought they were all that time, or maybe you have to accept that this person has changed into something that you don't necessarily recognize or understand. But you have to understand, like, if you're going to be in community with people, you have to accept them for exactly who they are. Now, does that mean that they can continue playing whatever role they choose to play in your life? No. You accept them for who they are, and you assign them the role that you feel like they would be most beneficial playing in your life. Now, I know that that sounds a little bit self-centered and a little bit selfish, but all of the most successful people are. Okay? I've not ever understood this idea that you have to be this totally selfless person in order to achieve success, because that doesn't happen. When you look at the world around you, think about the people who have come into money and power and success and fame and all of these things. These people are selfish when it comes to accomplishing their dreams. They're selfish when it comes to prioritizing their health, their well-being. They're selfish when it comes to saying, no, I need a break, or no, it's time for me to get to work. You know what I mean? That's how you're being selfish, and that's okay. It's okay to be selfish in that way, while still also wanting to foster the community around you or to build other people up. I just want to remind you that it's not your job to play martyr. And I want to remind you that you shouldn't be distracting yourself with any kind of like side quest to go save somebody else, right? There are going to be some relationships that don't make it. There are going to be some friendships, some situations, maybe even a romantic relationship that will not make the cut. That's your choice. Okay. You know what needs to be done. It's time for you to there's like this plant, and it's time for you to go around and trim the dead leaves off so that the flowers, so that the blossoms can fully thrive. If you have to prune the dead ends, it's time for you to only focus your energy in life into what gives you energy in life. Okay. And I think that maybe you might struggle with guilt or shame because you understand what it feels like to be abandoned, to be left out in the cold, to feel like lost or wandering or wanting to know what your place, what your role or your purpose is. And now that you've tapped into that, there's a certain compassion that you unlock for other people who maybe you feel aren't there, but who are you to say whether they're there or not? I feel like that's an inherently judgmental thing to say. It's like, well, I have to bring you with me, or I have to get you up to my level, as if their level is not comparable to yours. Everybody is not meant to ride with you on this journey. Everybody is not meant to be on your level, on your frequency, on your wave. I feel like that's another way where we kind of infuse ego with our spirituality, or infuse ego with our own success or leveling up, is that we convince ourselves that we're now this savior who has to invest all of our time and effort and energy into making sure everybody around us is good. You need to be good, right? You feel good, you are good, you're doing well for yourself. Stay on that trajectory, because that's what's going to push you forward. If people fall off, people fall off. If people don't like the new roles that they've been assigned, that's their choice to walk away, to leave, to not continue the friendship or not continue the relationship. There might be people that you flat out just say, I no longer want to be in relationship with you. I no longer want to have contact with you, or you just allow things to kind of fizzle out naturally. Whatever you choose to do is fine, as long as you're not trying to be Captain Save, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't bring everybody with you, but you know what you need to do. I just feel like there is so much love and so much life and so much purpose that's flowing through you right now. That's what you need to be focused on. And once again, using other people as a distraction from your path and then blaming them when you aren't as far as you should be because you went back to reach for their hand and they didn't accept the help, you can only blame yourself. You know what I mean? You can only blame yourself for slowing your momentum down, to keep going back to the past to pull people up to the front with you. I'm not going to say who you should cut off and who you should, entertain. That's up to you and up to your priorities. The hidden energy being the King of Swords, and just under that we have the Magician, more Aries energy, right? I think we just had a full moon in Aries at the time that I'm recording this video. That may be significant for some of you guys. That might have been the beginning of this kind of transition that you're ready to make at this point. But it doesn't have to be that. It just might be significant for some of you guys out there. But the reason why I was showing you this card is because the King of Swords, he is the cutoff king. If it does not align with his vision for the future, it does not get any energy. If it does not align with his goals, his success, his money, his profits, his desire, he's cutting it off. It doesn't matter. This is somebody who's making logical choices from a logical place and saying, is this healthy for me? Is there a way that I can create a healthier version of this? And if not, is it time for me to release this? You don't have to be cut and dry. You can analyze, you can think about these things, you can take your time. But at the end of the day, I feel like you already know what needs to be done and what direction you need to be moving forward in. It doesn't matter what you choose, as long as what you're choosing is also choosing you. And what I mean by that is choosing to support you, is choosing to uplift you, is choosing to reciprocate the love, the nurturing, and all of that stuff. Unless they're your literal children, because obviously, as the parent, that's kind of our job. But if it's not reciprocating what you're putting out, then it may be time to say, maybe I should invest my energy elsewhere. Maybe I should focus more energy into myself, or into this project that I really love, or into these things that really connect me with my purpose. You've made so many sacrifices to be there for other people, to show up for other people, to honor, support, uplift other people. And now it's your turn to see who's really there for you, to see who really has your back. But at the end of the day, that should not be your focus. Your focus right now should be all of the things that you're creating, all of the life that's flowing through you right now, you really connecting to your sense of purpose in a really meaningful way. That's what should be taking center stage right now. Don't let all of these other little things dim your light, or make you feel small, or make you feel like you should be focusing on anything other than you. You're in this Empress energy for a reason, okay? Ride the wave, ride this momentum. Don't stop what you're doing. Keep focusing on loving on you, supporting you, showing up for you. And anybody else who wants to do that will also do that. Don't be heartbroken if people don't show up for you in the way that you've shown up for them. Just understand that you cannot expect you from people. And at the end of the day, you have these decisions to make for you. You already know what you want to do. You already know what's healthy for you and what's not healthy for you. You already know what you feel might taint this new beginning or this new chapter. And I'm going to encourage you to release it as Spirit is encouraging you to release it. All right, Aquarius, this is what I have for you guys. I hope that this was helpful or enlightening in some way. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff, and I will be with you next time.